The NFL playoffs are a pressure cooker for the fans, players, and coaches alike.
Has Nick Sirianni guaranteed himself of a job with the Eagles next year?
No.
How about we take a look around the NFL landscape and call out the 5 players or coaches with the most to gain and the 5 with the most to lose heading into this year's playoffs. Most to gain, Lamar Jackson, quarterback, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has the MVP swagger, the electrifying playmaking, and the highlight reels that could loop for days. But let's face it, when the postseason rolls around, for whatever reason, things start to look a little bit different for Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. Some might even say that that's where his doubters and haters still have their last bit of real estate in his head. Because the criticism is simple. He hasn't been able to get it done when it matters most. Lamar's playoff resume has been shaky, and every early exit has added another layer to the narrative that he's just a regular season wonder. But the Ravens are built to make a run this year. The defense is nasty, the offense is balanced, and Lamar finally has a supporting cast to do it. If he can finally lead Baltimore on a deep playoff run to the Super Bowl, or dare we say, hoist the Lombardi Trophy, Lamar's legacy takes a quantum leap. He won't just be the most electric player in football, he'll be a champion, leapfrogging Josh Allen and at least an eyesight to Patrick Mahomes thanks to the postseason story to match the sizzle. But of course, he still has to actually go out and do it. Most to lose, Nick Sirianni, head coach, Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni didn't exactly enter the NFL head coaching scene with fanfare. When the Eagles hired him, the collective reaction was, Nick who? And ever since then, he's had a love-hate relationship with the city that chose him. And let's face it, while it started off all love with that Super Bowl run, early in this year, it was really skewing toward hate to the point that people started to wonder if Sirianni would survive the year. They were coming off the disastrous finish to 2023, and it looked like that this year was about to fall into that same trap. But in a blink, he turned skepticism back into Super Bowl aspirations, taking the Eagles to within sniffing distance of the Lombardi Trophy. His fiery sideline demeanor, aggressive play calling, and relentless swagger, all the things that have enraged Eagles fans when they were losing, have become endearing yet again. Make no mistake about it though, if this team doesn't perform come playoff time, the city will turn on him again in a split second. In Philadelphia, good just doesn't cut it. Most to gain, Dan Campbell, head coach, Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell is the kind of coach who could hype up a brick wall and convince it to smash through itself. His Lions play with his fire, his grit, his belief that they are no longer a punchline, but instead a powerhouse. Detroit hasn't tasted playoff glory since VHS tapes were cutting-edge technology, and they've never hoisted the Lombardi. But Campbell, he has them on the cusp of something special. This isn't just a shot at a playoff win, it's a chance to rewrite an entire franchise's history. If Campbell can lead the Lions to postseason success, he transforms into a legend in Detroit. He becomes the coach who took a cursed franchise and gave it hope. Win big, and Campbell will become the Motor City Messiah. Most to lose, Sean McDermott, head coach, Buffalo Bills. For years, Sean McDermott was the architect of hope in Buffalo. He turned a perennial punchline into a Super Bowl contender, gave Bills Mafia something to believe in, and made sure the process wasn't just an empty tagline. But NFL windows close pretty fast, and coming into this season, many believed that the Bills' championship aspirations were beginning to fade. Now, to their credit, they have completely flipped the script in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year. But now the expectations, too, have risen once again. And once the playoffs roll around, it'll be all eyes on McDermott to see if he can get this team past the vaunted Chiefs and into the Super Bowl, and perhaps even beyond. Prior to this point, they have been oh so close, tantalizingly close. But each heartbreaking loss has chipped away at McDermott's aura. And well, we don't know if that his reputation could withstand another postseason blow. Most to gain, Russell Wilson, quarterback, Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson's career arc has been a bit of a roller coaster. High peaks in Seattle, a plunge into the abyss in Denver, and now with the Steelers, well, he's got a chance to prove that he's not washed, that there is still magic in that right arm. Pittsburgh loves a redemption story, almost as much as it loves defense and Iron City beer. If Wilson can lead them on a playoff run, well, he resurrects his career and his image. The stakes couldn't be clearer. If Russ cooks in the postseason, he's a veteran who just needed the right system. If he fizzles Eagles out, this would go down as just another chapter in the story of a former star on a slow, sad decline. Russ is sitting in a pretty good spot though. That defense is legit as it gets, and with his burgeoning connection with George Pickens, there is reason to believe that this team could make some noise come playoff time. And man, wouldn't that be sweet for the veteran quarterback. A deep run could be the ultimate "I told you so" to every critic who buried him too soon. Most to lose, Josh Allen, quarterback, Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is a walking highlight reel. A 6'5" gunslinger with a rocket arm and the kind of physicality that makes linebackers hesitate. When he's on his game, man, he is mesmerizing. When he's not, well, he's a turnover machine and gifting opponents extra possessions like he is handing out party favors. The initial story on Allen was that he didn't live up to the hype come playoff time. He has, with his individual performances, been able to put that notion largely to bed, but he still has to find a way to prove that he can deliver the one statistic that people care about at this time of year. You know, W's. The stakes are sky high. If Allen leads the Bills on a deep playoff run, he silences the critics and solidifies himself as one of the game's elite. But if he falters yet again, you know, if those interceptions rear their ugly heads, the doubters are gonna be armed with receipts. Most to gain, Saquon Barkley, running back, Philadelphia Eagles. If Saquon balls out and helps the Eagles make a deep playoff run, he can shed the great talent, bad luck label. He becomes the postseason hero, the missing piece in an already dangerous offense. For a guy who's always been seen as a star despite his circumstances in New York, this is his chance to be a star because of them. He is having a heck of a year running alongside Jalen Hurts. And this one looks like it could be a match made in heaven come playoff time when teams really need to dial up the hard-nosed football. It sounds strange, but in the land of cheesecakes and brotherly love, Barkley could finally get the postseason platform that he has craved. Injuries and bad Giants teams robbed him of playoff chances in New York. But now, with the Eagles, the lights are bright and the expectations are sky high. And with the way that offense runs through him, he now has the opportunity to really establish himself as a bona fide superstar. Those to lose, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, Patrick Mahomes, the guy with 2 rings, 2 MVPs, and the kind of resume that already screams future Hall of Famer. So, why is he here? Well, because when you set the bar as high as Mahomes has, anything less than greatness feels like failure. That's just the tax you pay when you're that good. Unfortunately for Mahomes, this year the Chiefs look, well, sort of mortal. There have been more than a few games where the offense sputters because the O-line falters or the receivers drop passes like they're allergic to catching the ball. And suddenly, Mahomes doesn't quite look so invincible. If Kansas City stumbles early, the narrative that Mahomes can single-handedly drag a flawed team to greatness takes a hit. It won't ruin his legacy, but it puts a dent in the mythology surrounding him. And more specifically, because he's going into this postseason with the opportunity to make NFL history by securing a three-peat, the pressure is even greater, because that's just something the league has never seen before. Most to gain, Sean Payton, head coach, Denver Broncos. If Payton can guide the Broncos to a postseason run, even if they don't win it all, he proves that he still has the coaching magic. He shows that his years away didn't dull his edge, and that he's still the guy who made the Saints perennial contenders. For Payton, the playoffs are a chance to remind the NFL world that his legacy isn't just in New Orleans. It's still being written. And perhaps more importantly to Payton, this is also a chance for him to officially put that abomination of a season with Russell Wilson behind him. Let's face it, Sean Payton didn't return to the NFL to fade quietly into the background. He took over the Broncos to restore his own glory and to save a team drowning in dysfunction. It looked like things were trending in the opposite direction in year one, but he has turned everyone back into believers in the Mile High City. Most to lose, Jordan Love, quarterback, Green Bay Packers. The torch has been passed in Green Bay, from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love? Well, you know, so far, Love has shown enough to make Packers fans cautiously optimistic, a flicker of light in what could have been a dark post-Rodgers era. He had himself a wonderful coming-out party during the postseason last year when he and the Packers upended Dak, Mike McCarthy, and the Dallas Cowboys in humiliating fashion. But that was when there was no expectations on him. No one even thought that the Packers would make the playoffs last year. This year, well, it's a bit of a different story. Granted, they are fighting an uphill battle in the buzzsaw that is the NFC North, but still, people expect the Packers and Love specifically to deliver. A strong playoff performance, and Love stakes his claim as the guy for the next decade. A collapse, and, well, the Packers' faith in him could begin to wobble. Plus, let's face it, while he has battled some injuries this year, the results as a whole just haven't been that great. So if Love folds under postseason pressure this year, those flashes of potential greatness that we've all seen will start to feel like fool's gold. Packers fans have lived through 3 decades of quarterback excellence. They expect the pinnacle when it comes to their signal caller. In fact, they demand it. He needs to ball out, plain and simple. Otherwise, the whispers about his ceiling will turn into roars, especially considering how much the Packers have committed to him financially. But hey, which top NFL coach or player do you think has the most to gain heading into the playoffs? Who do you think has the most to lose? Who do you think we were wrong about? Was there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.